Good morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Sura, and this is Real Estate Objection Handling. And in today's training, I am going to share with you on how to break down the objection. I need to find a house to buy first before I put mine on the market. Now, this is a common objection, especially in today's market with the low inventory and the influx of low interest rates, and the demand is really high. In my market in Southern California, we only have 1.5 months supply on the market, and which means that if no new homes come onto the market, that means in a month and a half, we've depleted our entire inventory. And that's very challenging for buyers, right? Typically, the amount of time it takes for an agent to work with a buyer is 3 times that of a listing. Nowadays, if you have to go and write an offer on 10 different houses before you can actually buy one, if you can buy one, then really that's a 10 times 3 multiple. So if that's a scenario for you, really what you're doing is spending 30 times the amount of time with one buyer than if you just spent the time and effort in working with a listing. But the reason why I'm coming up with this objection today is because this is a common concern. A seller doesn't want to sell their home if, in fact, they can't have a home, right? They're not going to sell their home, be out of house and home, and live out of a cardboard box on the sidewalk downtown or under a viaduct. So our job as real estate professionals, our job as sales professionals is to solve problems. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And I want to share with you kind of my daily quotes. This is a quote from the famous, infamous Jim Rohn. And what Jim always said is, you can make up in numbers where you lack in skill. Okay, you can make up in numbers where you lack in skill. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you're really not that good, that's okay. Just go and talk to more people. Because and it's not just talking to anybody. If you're going to be in real estate and you're going to list and sell houses, you don't want to just talk to anybody. You want to spend your time talking to people who own homes, because that's who your demographic is. So if you can make up in numbers where you lack in skill, however, if you believe that to be true, which I do, then you also have to believe this next quote, which is my take on this. It's the other side of the coin. And it's, you can make up in skill where you lack in numbers. Okay, you can make up in skill where you lack in numbers. You heard me say all the time, if you've watched my videos or if you watch my training, is that nobody gets good at anything without practice, and you'll never perform at a higher level than the level in which you practice. So if you focus on increasing your skills, then you don't have to talk to so many darn people, right? You don't have to talk to 100 people to get one appointment. You can talk to 10 people and get one appointment. I always say that the most important thing about real estate is lead generation, because without leads, you can't do anything. You don't have to be that great. The saying goes is, even a blind squirrel will get a nut every once in a while. And as long as you have a lead source coming in, you can get deals, but you could be the best person in the world without leads, then you're not going to have any business. So there's a combination of it, but you need to have both. But you need to work on, if you don't want to work so hard, if you don't want to have that daily grind, then you need to work on amplifying your skills. And one way you could do that is by practice, by going to the real estate role-playing group. It's not about just watching me and talking to me and listening to how I coach and train. There's a dime a dozen on coaches and trainers. Where you're going to increase your skill is by implementing and investing that time into your daily practice. So without further ado, let's talk about the objection. Going back here. So the objection is, I need to find a house before I put mine on the market. And we're going to use the ultimate rebuttal formula that I share with everyone. So number one is acknowledge. Okay, you have to acknowledge what they say. You're going to approve, you're going to make them right. And then you're going to embed a softener, not make the blow so salesy, and kind of bring it down a notch before you ask a question. So that's what I'm going to do right here. And the key thing to this objection, the major focus is, you got to find somebody's motivation. Now, again, if you watch my videos or or if I've trained you or coached you on a personal level, one of the things that I always say is that when you're talking to somebody for a very first time, your objective, number one, find out if they own a home, and number two is to find out if they want to sell it. But after that, you need to find out is what is their why, what is their when, their motivation behind it. And that's really, really important to this objection, because the objection by itself doesn't tell you anything, right? That's just a surface layer, a surface. You can't rebuttal this objection and get them to get an appointment or to close a deal. You need to rebuttal this objection so you can rebuttal the following objection, or address the following concern, or identify a condition. So that's what we need to do, and that's what's really going to be the focus on here. So the first thing you need to do is when somebody gives you, I need to buy a home first before I sell it, you need to acknowledge what they had just said. Now, the way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to repeat what they say in the frame of a question. I do that a lot. I do that a lot in real life. A lot of you will contest to that. So, okay, Mr. Seller. So you're thinking that you need to find and buy a home first before you sell this one. Is that right? And they're going to say, yeah, that's right. Now you're going to approve what they say. You're going to make them right. Oh, okay. Well, I can see with the current market, how it is, how that makes sense to you. And then we're going to do a softener, and then we're going to ask, right? Now, if you don't mind me asking, why are you selling this home? Remember, guys, you got to find their why and their when. You're not going to say anything magical on this objection that's going to get them to get an appointment with you. If you try, all you're going to do is come off as salesy, and the salesman alert's going to go off. That's the key about conversational selling. The key about conversational selling is to talk to them as if they were talking to a normal person and not always getting pitched. And you're walking them down a process of a decision making. It's no different than what you would do with a friend or a family member or someone who's in your sphere of influence, someone who you know on a personal basis. So if you don't mind me asking, why are you wanting to sell this home in the first place? Right? So we're putting the other part off to the side, right? They want to sell it first. They want to find and buy a home first before they put this home on the market. Before I really want to address anything, I need to know what their why is. Why are you selling it? And then what you're going to do is you're just going to repeat the process, because they're going to say what they're going to say, right? They're going to say, well, I have a job transfer. Awesome. You know what, guys? You can work with that. Once you find out why they're selling, you can work with that. Oh, interesting. Mr. and Ms. Seller, that's awesome. You got a new job. When do you have to be there? When are you starting your new job? Where is your new job? Now you know their motivation, and now you have something to work with. You can't work with this objection as it is. You need to ask another question to get a little deeper into the situation before you can actually get somewhere on something. Now, they might say, well, look, the market's hot and I want to see what I can get for it. It's not real motivation. Okay, that's speculation. You can't really work with a speculator, because if they don't, okay, in the way that you would about that, oh, okay, so the market's hot and you want to see what you can net on the home. But okay, so truth be told is that there's a 100% probability that you'll sell your home for drastically more now than there ever has been in a time in history. So, what kind of number are you looking for? Well, if I can get, 500,000, it's worth probably, 400,000. If I can get 500,000, I'll sell it. Guys, that's not motivation. It's better to have no listings than have a listing that's overpriced that will never sell. Homes are selling with record prices. They're getting tons of offers on it. But here's the thing: if your property is listed overpriced, nobody's going to look at it, right? The fundamentals don't change, right? That's like saying that gravity works different on the first floor than it does on the 10th floor, right? If you list a home overpriced, you get less activity. You get less activity, you're not going to get as many offers. So it's going to warrant that you have to ask a lot more questions. Say, so you have to deal with the, I want to find a home and buy a home first before I list and sell this one. You need to deal with that objection first by not dealing with it and asking questions to get to their why and to get to their when. Now, what would happen if I need to, where our home is too small? We need to upsize. Oh, you know what? I totally understand. Especially, you have a 2-bedroom condo. Typically, a lot of people will outgrow that in a certain period of time. Now, if you don't mind me asking, what is it that's important to you about actually finding a home first before you sell this one? Okay. And let them share that. Don't assume what their concern is. Share with them, ask them the question to have them vocalize their concern with you, because you might be wrong. If you're just going to assume something, you might be wrong. So if that comes up, what is it that's important to you? Well, look, man, I have a family. I have small children. I can't sell this home without having some place to go to. Okay, so Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, if there was a way that I could make you feel comfortable and confident that we could sell this home without having and find that next home without having the fear that you're going to be out of house and home, is that something that you would consider working with me on? Well, gosh, Brett, how are you going to do that? It's a really great question. It's not really something that I can talk to you on the phone about. Is there a time this week that you and I could maybe meet for 20 minutes where I can walk you through the exact process to actually get it done? Are you available sometime this week? Well, yeah, I'm available this week. Okay, what would work better for you typically? Is it the mornings or the afternoons? Afternoons are typically better for me after 1 o'clock. Okay, so I'm looking at my calendar. Would Tuesday at 1:30 work better for you? Or could you do maybe Wednesday at 3 o'clock? Do either of those times work for you? Yeah, I guess 3 o'clock would work for me. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you over a packet of information first. I want you to understand kind of who I am, my background, how many homes I've sold, my experience in the market, my action plan, and then you and I will spend 20 minutes together going over the action plan, and I'm going to share with you exactly a strategy on how we can actually sell your home in this market, find the next one to buy without any risk of being out of house and home. Does that sound awesome to you? Yeah, that does sound great. Great. So before I let you go, do you have any more questions for me? No, I'll just keep an eye out for that packet, and then I'll talk to you on Wednesday. All right, terrific. Okay, then you hang up. Now, I went a little bit further and beyond what this objection's for, but it kind of gives you the framework of how you want to take it. After that, I'm going to send them a packet, my pre-meeting packet. They're going to review it, and on Tuesday, I'm going to call and make sure they had a chance that they received it and that they had a chance to review that. And then they're going to come up with questions, and I'm going to address those. That's pre-qualifying the appointment, and then I'm going to go on to the appointment on Wednesday. All right, guys. So I hope this helps. If you're part of the real estate objection handling, you're going to have to go ahead and practice this a few times before you get with your partner to role play this out. But, practice at the level of what you want to perform. This is going to be an objection. Now, the way I'm going to solve that problem is when they sell their home contingent on them buying a home, right? Hear what I say. It's flipped for what the market used to be. You're good. The seller will go into escrow, go under contract, contingent on them finding and buying another home. And when you're in a seller's market like our seller's market, you can practice as a seller, you can practically ask and do whatever you want. And that's a very viable strategy. Now that you solved one problem, now you have a problem of going and finding and helping them buy another one, right? But, that's why we get paid, right? We get paid to solve problems. And the bigger problem that we solve, the more money we make. All right, guys. So that's it for today's real estate objection handling training. If you're catching this on the replay, please subscribe to my channel. If you like getting this kind of content, hit the alert bell if you want to be notified anytime I go live, and I will catch you guys. Get out there, have some conversations, make some appointments, close some deals, make some commissions. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.